this is Obsidian Blue. It's a really nice color. It's a dark blue, but when you look at it, you see black on the curves. So if you get the base model, you get a smart key access system. That means when you touch the magic handle, it unlocks and locks. Even more amazing, you get a remote starter standard. It also has a standard multi-angle backup camera and a standard lane watch camera. Let's take a look at the front. There's a lot of things on the front of this vehicle. So this is the Touring. This is the top of the line. There's like a bunch of trims, but if you get the Touring, then you get all the features. So if you get the LX, it is the least expensive trim. Then you still get the LED running lights, but you just get halogens. These are LED headlights. Look at that. Every single feature you can think of that'll stop you from getting into an accident, this vehicle has. It has collision mitigation, forward collision warning. It has lane keep assist. It also has lane departure warning. It has adaptive cruise. There's also low-speed adaptive cruise, so you can follow the flow of traffic in the city, which is really cool. This has road departure mitigation. So if the vehicle senses that you're going off the road, then it's gonna hit the brakes and stop you. You know what's crazy? Look how big these shoulders are. Right here. So big. Now the first thing you're gonna say is, what's up with the wheels? I know, they're really weird, aren't they? They look like throwing stars. If the throwing stars didn't look like throwing stars, I guess. These are 18s. These are available on the EX and up, because there's the LX two-wheel drive, the LX all-wheel drive, then there's the EX, the EXL, and the Touring. That's 5 trims. So these are available on the EX, which brings me to another point. If you're gonna buy this vehicle, you can get it for $26,000 if you get the LX two-wheel drive. You still get the 17-inch wheels, which is amazing, 17-inch standard wheels on a vehicle, but if you just pay like $3,000 more, you get all-wheel drive plus like a million other super cool features. So you have blind spot monitoring in this. However, if you get the base model, then you actually don't get blind spot monitoring. That is replaced with your lane watch assist, which is a little camera on the right mirror so you can see what's in your blind spot on your right side. So no matter what you get, even if you get the cheapest model ever, you're still gonna have a blind spot monitor of sorts. That's really cool. And because proximity key comes standard in this vehicle, no matter which one you get, which trim, you're always gonna be able to look really cool in front of your friends. There's no button on here. There's actually 3 little ridges, and you just put your finger on here and it unlocks or locks. And you can unlock it just by touching the back too. And when you walk away, it locks. When you get the Touring, you have these roof rails that come standard. They're pretty nice. This vehicle has about an extra inch of clearance on the bottom. It looks sleeker. You'd think a vehicle that's taller would look less sleek. This looks more sleek. It's like having a big forehead. It makes you more aerodynamic. Unlock. Unlock again. What? I bet there are people who are CR-V loyalists, and they are thinking, man, why didn't they just leave my precious taillights alone? You know what? It's time to move on. These are way nicer. Look at this. There's nothing wrong with using plastics on a vehicle, but it always surprises me how much plastic Honda puts on their vehicles. I'm sure there's a reason. Let's say you're a little bit busy, a little bit occupied because Snapchat has a new filter and you're using it while you're backing up. You back into Grandpappy and you end up cracking the bumper. Normally you'd have to get a new bumper and get it painted and match the paint to the vehicle and stuff like that. It's a really, really big runaround. But with this, because this is just a gray bumper, they just pull out the new bumper from the bumper store and then they put it on, then you're good as new. The bumper, not you and Grandpappy. You'd have some stuff to go through probably. Dual exhaust is only available on the Touring trim. Every other trim you just get single exhaust. So if you get the Touring or the EXL, then you get a power lift gate. But what you get on the Touring that you don't get on the EXL is you get a foot activated lift gate. So if you're carrying a bunch of stuff like children, then you can just wave your foot around, it opens the back, you toss them in, close it, the end. You know what's really cool about this tailgate? Watch this. It says hold the set height. You can actually adjust the height of it. Let's say you're really short and you're having trouble opening your tailgate. Watch this. I don't know how this works. This is my first time doing it. Oop, nope. Hold the set height. There's a cover right here. Look at this. So you can cover up all your valuable Hatchimals. Now, what happens if we try to fold the seats down? Let's find out. There's switches here, but there's also a lever here. Never seen seats that are easier to fold down than that. And there's still plenty of room when the seats are up. And if there's not enough room, then you can just fold this down like this. Now, there's even more room. Look at that. The thing that's nice about this, that you don't have to worry about with other vehicles, is that when you lock yourself in the trunk, oh yeah, I forgot. I guess I didn't correctly unset it. I would say that's enough goofing off. We have to get to serious business. Let's go look at the engine. Here is the engine. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, that's cool, but where's the rest of it? It's really small, isn't it? I could probably fit it in my pocket. It's a 1.5 liter. It is a tiny engine, but it has a turbo. It has 190 horsepower and 179 foot-pounds of torque. In the US, so they have this engine option, but they also have the older engine as well. But in Canada, it's just this engine. This vehicle is actually quite a bit faster than the previous year. And this vehicle also has best-in-class fuel economy, which is 7.2 liters per 100 kilometers in the highway, 8.7 liters per 100 kilometers in the city. The Americans, they want Imperial. You know what? Let's put the Imperials right here. I bet that worked out really well. So we are in the interior of the car. The first thing I noticed is how this interior is way nicer than the old one, especially the seats. The seats used to have all these weird wrinkles on them to make it, I don't know, it looks like your grandpa's lazy boy recliner. But now they look like actual seats. They're real seats. They kind of remind me of the Range Rover seats, just the way the headrest is recessed into here. So everything on the door is soft touch, and there's leather door inserts because this is a touring and we have leather. I always wondered, who came up with the idea to put wood in a vehicle to make it seem fancier? We're having trouble selling our cars. No one thinks they're classy enough. Put trees in it. So this isn't real wood, it's just plastic. But it actually does look pretty decent. There's also a fully digital gauge cluster. So you have your tachometer, which is horizontal like this, and then you have your speedometer, and then you have your fuel gauge and your other stuff. Look at this. You can put stuff on here, you can push this back, and you have more storage under here. And then right here, there are two USB inputs. One of them is just a charger. I really like the steering wheel, especially because in Canada, we have a heated steering wheel for our CR-V. The US does not. I'm sorry. But we need it more than you do, probably. So there's a button right here, and instead of having it in the middle of the dash, it's right on the steering wheel, which makes a ton of sense. So I can just hit it with my thumb, and that's it. So normally a vehicle would have like a rocker switch for the volume knob, but this is actually a touch slide. So you touch up and touch down to change the volume. Honda always has really high mounted shifters. It's kind of weird, but I guess it's their thing. This is their infotainment system. So this is standard. No matter which trim you buy, you're always going to have a 7-inch Honda display. And they finally brought back the volume knob. Before they just had a touch slider, and apparently no one liked it. Everyone hated it. But this does have CarPlay and Android Auto. So instead of messing around with that system, you can just bring your USB cable. We now have Android Auto on here, and it looks so much nicer. The navigation is a Garmin integrated navigation, which apparently is cool. And you can pinch and zoom and swipe. Let's go view map. So that's cool. Ooh, that actually is pretty quick. Let's go app list. Ooh, you can get a calculator in case you want to calculate how lame you are for using your calculator in your vehicle. Why would you ever need a calculator while you're driving? Let's see. Browser. Oh yeah, you can tether to Wi-Fi in here, but you have to pay monthly for that. So that's neat. Keep your kids happy. Look at this. This is my music right here. So this is the playlist, and this is all the songs that are coming up, which is neat. This is so much easier to use in the regular system. That's really cool. So there's also brake hold. So if you get tired of holding the brakes all the time, when you stop and this is activated, you can just stop and take your foot off the brake, and then the car stays there. I didn't think I would like it, but it's actually super cool. I really like it, especially if you live in one of those big cities with awful traffic. And also in Canada, not the US, we have a panoramic sunroof. They only get a regular sunroof. Ooh, and there's a conversation mirror. Hello. And then you have power seats. You can also get 4-way power passenger seats if you want to. Did you know there's more leg room in this back seat than there is in any other vehicle in this class? There's also heated rear seats, 3-stage heated rear seats. That never happens. The US also doesn't get heated rear seats. Crazy, you guys are missing out so bad. And look at this, there's a tweeter there. You never see fast chargers in vehicles. That's really cool that there's 2 of them. If you have 3 kids though, then there's gonna be a fight to the death over who doesn't get it. There's also an extremely flat floor. The transmission tunnel is really tiny. It's only like this tall, which is cool. Honda always seems to do that. That's crazy how much room there is. I can like stretch out, almost stretch out. I could go on a road trip and I'd be probably happy. Very comfortable too. There's also vents back here, which is good. There's actually enough room for me to sit on the floor too. Look at that. You could fit more than 3 kids in here. You could fit like 6, I bet. Don't worry about them. They'll be okay. Kids aren't as fragile as you think. You could probably drop them and they're still fine. Have you ever wondered what would happen if you opened up your power lift gate and pulled over to the side of the road to see if someone would just put something in the back of the car? Yeah, apparently there's good CVTs and bad CVTs. This is a good CVT because it doesn't feel like an elastic band. They mimic the shift points to make it seem like it's actually shifting, but guess what? It's not really shifting. See, if I floor it,